Oh my god. It's playing twice, but in such rapid succession, it actually sounds quite cool. The intro was amazing. It was like blast beat. Oh, the drum rolls are so good. Double basses raw. That was so cool. It was just basically blast beats mixed with chorus vocals. It was so good.
Okay. So, last we left off, the Peach Pals had returned to Azeron. Who Isengard?
They're taking the peaches to Isengard.
Isengard.
Where they had split up. Kurak had investigated the Temple of Kalemvor, learning the ways of the Lord of the Dead and becoming a cleric in addition to being a Kensai.
Yeah.
It also had a bit of a fraternization with the priests of Bane and been placed under a dominate person spell with a magical amulet. Upon a brief scuffle, you managed to destroy the amulet, free Kurak from the spell.
Not after I'd smashed his Wade's face in.
Yeah, Wade lost some teeth in the process. Taveron then stealthily infiltrated the Baneites' temple and learned from them about a scion, a weapon for the Temple of Bane, and they believe that Kurak is this weapon. You had also encountered some Warforged worshipping a dead savior of some kind, a man they knew as King, the King of Kings, who they believed had freed them from the tyranny of the Empire, and they wanted to commemorate his memory by placing the last remaining bone of his body and interring it within the St. Sebastian's Basilica in the city of his birth. The rest of his body had been smashed to dust with sledgehammers by the disgruntled public. You also had encountered a strange soul box within which was the spirit of a little girl who had asked you to reunite her with her mother. Upon journeying to Port Flores, you had met Lydia's mother and promised her that you would try and free her daughter from this spirit box. So picking up with the quest of the Warforged, you had travelled to the Papal Palace, during which time you had dispelled a cursed sword. So Kurak now has access to a +1 katana. And you are now awaiting an audience with the Papal Mother to request that this relic from Zapotec be placed in the St. Sebastian's Basilica. So, where are we? So, oh, of course, I didn't write his name down. The mustachioed, bald paladin returns.
But what's his name?
I don't think you ever. I actually don't think you asked his name. That's why I didn't write it down.
I know the first thing I'm doing.
Fine. And he says, "The Papal Mother has granted you an audience. If you'd follow me, please." He leads you across, out of the Templars, out of the Templar, and across the Papal Palace grounds towards the Holy Residence, which is a incredibly grand building, different but equally grand to the Castillo Verano, the palace of the Queen. This is much more Gothic in its architecture, with huge gargoyles and ornate carvings of animals, angels, and demons. Demons crushed beneath pillars, with angels sat on the corners of the pillars, high in the building's rafters.
Is this like in the Ministry of Magic, where you've got the big bricks crushing all the muggles?
A bit like that, yeah.
Just visualising it, it's good.
So you walk in and it's all very Gothic inside. Lots of stone archways with various stairs spiralling off, small corridors leading into dark candlelit corridors. The candles are all in gold candelabras. There's lots of red carpets and gold idols and statues, tapestries along the walls. As you're led up a spiral staircase, the smell of incense hits your nose as you ascend to a lavishly decorated room. And on a small, simple throne sits the Papal Mother, wearing a white dress, quite plain, but with a gold circuit and a gold tiara on. Greetings, my friends.
We meet again.
I'm glad to see you all in one piece.
Well, Wade is back to life, and Creamy would be back to life, but
I'm here.
She is here.
What brings you here? How may I be of service?
Well, I'm not sure because I wasn't there.
Are we doing the quest where the Warforged one?
Yeah.
God, what did we want me to do?
The Warforged. There's a Warforged basically in the docks that live in. That are just making a nuisance of themselves, and they have this sacred saintly bone that they need to bury in this.
Have you heard of King?
And if we allowed them to bury this bone in the Papal Palace, I think that's where they needed it, then they would leave and the city would be a happier place.
And this bone, you say it belonged to a king?
The king of
The
kings.
king of kings.
No king I've ever heard
An
of.
elephant prince.
Some messiah for the Warforged.
Cecil, have you heard of this King? The bald, moustached gentleman comes over and bows deeply in front of the Papal Mother, and then whispers something in her ear.
Oh no. Don't be a dick, Cecil.
Cecil informs me that. Actually, let's see if he. Let's do this properly. Let's see if he would know. Cecil informs me that the King was the moniker of an enemy of the state, of the crown. It would be highly inappropriate to bury such a person anywhere in the capital.
Bye then.
Why would you want to vouch for this? These Warforged, what benefit would we get out of it?
See, the thing is, we need this thing called experience points. Other than that, I have no idea.
It's to get rid of them out of the city, where they're not really doing much actually, but
Wade seems to want to get rid of them pretty sharpish.
The Warforged are forbidden from setting foot upon the continent. They should not be here.
well, it's either we destroy them all, or they leave peacefully.
We can destroy them for 5,000 gold pieces each.
Or you can bury this little bone somewhere, and they will leave.
It does not need to be a marked grave or anything like that. It's just uncover a bit of turf and shove it in. I don't know. We could come up with some kind of document.
What you ask is a great favour.
We'll take the 5,000 gold pieces then. Each.
I believe that such a favour as to bury such a flagrant, deviant, and enemy of the crown on sacred soil would require penance in the form of a donation to the church.
Hang about. How much?
I believe 15,000 gold pieces would be appropriate.
You're going to give us 15,000?
I'm not sure if the Warforged have that kind of money, but
If
we
you
ask them.
just give us 10,000, we'll dispose of the problem.
I believe is Mr. Morglath, is it?
Yes.
I believe you are misunderstanding my meaning. 15,000 gold donation from either your Warforged friends or from yourselves, and I will overlook this.
Well, how very, very religious of you.
Well, of course. With a 15,000 gold piece donation, we can do a lot of good for the people of Azeron, for the homeless, for the destitute, for the hungry.
Is
The
there
Warforged are
any-
homeless.
Is
The
there
Warforged
anything?
are abominations.
Is there anything we can do that can waiver this charge? Any errands that you need running? As we don't have that money.
Make a persuasion check.
Is anyone helping me persuade?
Yeah, I hope you. Yes, we can perhaps expedite some tasks you have.
Oh,
Or
I'm
perhaps
afraid
not.
the crown. I'm afraid the I'm afraid the faith requires nothing of you at this time. We will, of course, keep you in mind should that change. And we do appreciate the work that you have been doing for the city, trying to rid it of this plague of deeply unsettling murders. But there will be certain expenses for burying such a item, and as I've said, as a token of good faith to the church and to the Archbishop of the Basilica, a donation of that magnitude is, I'm afraid, necessary.
Can it be brought down at all?
Bartering
It need not
donation.
be. It need not be gold, but an item of similar worth would be acceptable.
What about a fish-sized diamond?
Yes, that would certainly go some way towards the price if you have it.
How about we just kill some of the homeless people? Then they wouldn't need any money, would they?
I choose to believe that you're joking.
I'm not.
So you'd happily kill the Warforge?
No, I do not condone any kind of violence against them. I wish them to leave, and I do not believe that such creatures should ever have been granted life to begin with. It is perversion of Torm's will.
Well, thank you for your time. We'll report this back to the Warforged, and hopefully they'll just leave and give up.
Why does Tom sound so far away?
I sound far away. Have I got my... Oh,
Where are
I haven't plugged in my decent microphone. That's why.
What's happening to you guys?
Let's sort this out.
Is there anything else that I can be of service to you?
Was there anything else? Oh, we had a bit of a run-in with the Bay Knights.
Yes, I understand that there are worshippers of Bane within the city.
Well, one of them cursed me, and then I ended up smashing Wade in the face at night.
That is unfortunate.
It was
Isn't
more
that
unfortunate to
illegal?
me.
Certainly would be if you could prove it, but... And she takes a deep sigh. The worshippers of Bane include some of the most powerful and influential people within the city. And they will cover their tracks with impunity. They have the power and the means to do it. Unless you have something concrete that you can use as evidence against them, what they're doing is technically not illegal.
They
Of
used
course.
the cursed amulet.
And do you still have this amulet?
Why, yes, here it is. We certainly kept it.
Do you actually have it?
Yeah, we did. It was blackened, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you picked it up.
What? Surely we did.
Right, well, surely we would have.
Alright, well, I'll say you picked it up.
So generous.
It doesn't appear to be anything special apart from a blackened amulet. But 1 second, and you hear her muttering some incantations, and a blue light suddenly cast over the the amulet. There is no magic here anymore. Whatever spell or incantation enchanted this piece is long gone, I'm afraid.
Well, there's not much we can do then.
So, when you said they did nothing illegal, what do you mean by that?
Well, obviously, using dominate on anyone is illegal. But you have no proof that they did that. I don't doubt it for a second, but it's their word against yours.
Innocent shall proven guilty. That's the whole we live.
Did you worship like the evil god, Bane? Surely that counts against them.
People are free to worship any of the deities that they choose, apart from demons or Asmodeus or any of the fiends of the lower planes. But Bane is not a fiend, he's a god. An unsavory god that has, in my humble opinion, should have no place in society. But unfortunately, the Crown has spoken, and it is not outlawed anymore.
I must talk to the Crown to legislate some authoritarian rules about who you can worship or not.
By all means. But if you could find evidence that the Baneites, that implicate the Baneites in any way, you would be doing the church a favour.
Would that favour equate to 15,000 coins?
It would certainly go some way.
How about just a
Slaughter.
favour for a favour?
What about?
I'm sorry?
Would that take us all the way?
Just keep money out of it. Favour for a favour.
Will that conclude our meeting?
Yes.
Very well. The Paper Mother nods, and Cecil escorts you out of the room, leaving the incense smell and the sort of serenity of the Papal Mother. And her presence is calming. She's got this demeanour of authority without ever having to raise her voice. And as you leave that behind, you are a bit you do feel a bit less safe outside of her presence. There's something reassuring about her. You emerge back onto the grounds of the Papal Palace. Cecil bids you farewell and returns to the Templar. So, what are you doing?
Adieu, Cecil.
Adieu.
That was a complete failure.
It didn't go well.
Perhaps
Should
we
we-
should just deal with the skull in the box or whatever it is. The soul in the box.
Silver in the box.
Yes. Well,
And maybe we should have spoken to the Papal Mother about the soul in the box.
a Papal Mother, a Papal Mother. There's one more thing.
You've
Oh,
left.
yes.
But you get the sense that this is an arcane problem. She wouldn't really. It's not her speciality.
Isn't it the university we've got to go to?
Yes.
The university, yeah, the Tolarian Academy Terilius even Academy is a centre of research of all manner of the arcane.
Shall we head there?
Yes.
So,
Okay.
what sword did King have again? Is it worth 15,000? Or anything like that?
Probably
Is it even
more.
a good sword? Isn't it cursed?
Yes.
Yeah. Sure. It probably was. I think he's drawn to cursed things. And syphilis.
I mean, outside of this game, where your characters would have no knowledge of that sword, it was Callisto's Sword of Calamity, which was a +2 short sword that was cursed.
Oh, that's the one where you rolled. If you miss,
Yeah.
you roll a D10,000,
It's that sword.
and it made that guard scared of snow.
That D10,000 table is my absolute favourite thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hard to get that sword. I would wield that sword just for that.
But it can end the world.
Yeah, there is one of the 10,000 is the apocalypse of the. It would end not even like this game. It would end the campaign. Any other campaign set in this universe would have to be prequels.
Some of them are just
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Choose a random number between 1 and 10,000.
1.
1. Let's have a look. 1 at least is easy to find. Oh no, it's gone! Well, they've moved it. Oh well, I'll have to do that later. You don't have it yet. Okay, so where are you going? You're going to the university.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's early afternoon. It's just started to rain. It's a bit cloudy today. There's a slight breeze, and it's colder than it has been previously. As you walk through the rain-soaked streets, mud and horse excrement sort of washed away into a layer of brown grime across most of the street, the wide streets.
Mm-mm.
You travel through the old town, past the Fortaleza, the gigantic star fort, into Zaragoza, this sort of mismatch of tall buildings, older buildings, new buildings, all sort of huddled together in narrow streets, and finally emerging into a spacious Telerius Academy with its tall wooden frame. Some of the buildings are made of stone, almost higgledy-piggledy in its construction, turrets jutting sort of from almost seemingly at random. It almost looks different from when you saw it last time. So you approach, and again there's scholars, wizards in the academy's robes, grey robes and red robes, sort of wandering around, clutching books and tomes, going about their business.
Excuse me.
Yes, hello?
Who are you?
My name is Lawrence.
Ah, Lawrence. What's your surname?
My name is Lawrence.
Overrated.
No, it's not of Arabia, even though it's all I can think of.
It's all any of us can think of, so might as well call him that.
Ah, Lawrence Larabia.
Lawrence Lacroix. That's my name.
Ah,
Ha! Gee?
how do you do? I am Mr. Shart.
Pleasure to meet you. Are you from Tizumi?
I am.
I've read fascinating culture. I would love to visit there one day.
Why is there so much noise happening in
I know, what the fuck is going on?
Someone
Why
going for a piss in a cat litter tray.
And
What
he's
is
putting
going
away her schoolwork,
Pardon?
her marking. She's
Oh,
putting it away in her
sounds like
bag.
she's.
But she's
Well.
done that now. Sorry about that.
Lawrence, can you hush these fellows in this place? We need to talk serious business.
She's being quiet now.
What do you know about a soul in a box?
Soul in a box.
Is my soul in a box?
So
Can that sort of thing happen?
Well,
I don't think you're the guy we need to speak to, Lawrence.
is there someone that knows more about that side of things? Because we've got one right here.
We need to speak to a necromancer of some kind. Your most powerful and amazing and kind and helpful necromancer person.
Necrophilia, sorry,
Necrophiliac.
person.
There is only one.
Yes, that'll do.
There are a new number of archmages in the academy, visiting and faculty. I believe the person you seek is Odor Oberyn,
Hold
I
on.
ancient.
know that name.
Hold
Yes,
on.
I've heard he smells.
an ancient arcane expert and member of the small council.
Whereabouts is he?
He has an office in the academy, but it can be difficult to find.
Can you take us to him?
I could certainly try.
Is there not a campus map?
Well,
A
No.
campus mappers.
not quite. Follow me; it will become apparent why. So you've been through this academy before, and you've met Odor Oberyn before. I should point out he was one of the first people you spoke to when you asked him about the fairy tale book.
Yes.
I do not
Oh.
remember that.
Obers. He knows us. Mention about the Peach Pals. He'll know us.
But as you're walking through this academy, you don't recognise any of the corridors that you're going through, and you seem to. Lawrence leads you through small alcoves, up spiral staircases that seem to emerge out of nowhere, through secret doors that have bookcases, with bookcases as fronts. At one point, you climb through a window into another corridor. There's even a point where he opens a trapdoor, looks down, and you see a spiral staircase descending hundreds of feet. He closes the trapdoor again and opens it, and this time the spiral staircase is different. It's much wider, grander, and it only descends about 40 foot. It looks like a completely different room. And you get the sense as you're being led through this labyrinth of small corridors and odd, crazy rooms that this building hasn't really got a set form, and it changes. Eventually, though, Lawrence manages to lead you to a small office that is familiar, and knocks on a large mahogany door with a nameplate that says Professor O. Oberon. Just come in, just sit down. Ah, well, if it isn't Wade de Bloodcurrant and his companions.
Hello.
How goes your hunt for these witches of the moor?
Has your voice changed?
Quite possibly.
So, it's going very well. We found out that they've abducted my daughter 17 years ago, and they've imprisoned her, and we can't find the witches, and we're not actually looking for them right now, but we've got this box
But we
with a
found,
soul in it.
we found that they're going to appear in the convergence of the 3 different fault lines of something or other.
The yawning of the moor.
The big yawn.
Is any of this making sense to you?
Yes. The convergence I do know of.
Well, we've got an idea of some of the lines. We've been marking them on our map.
May I have a look?
Yes. Here you go.
It all seems to converge on the Temple of Lathander.
Yes.
We have seen through the Feywild that is where the tree lies.
We did manage to kill one of the witches in the Temple of Lathander.
And he draws. He notices the X's you've got and the rough lines you've got, and he traces them, and for a second he looks thoughtful, and then he rummages through, stands up abruptly and rummages through some shelves immediately behind him, and then no, not here, and sort of shuffles along to the next, and is still rummaging through, and eventually pulls out a map. And this is a map of Azeron, but from what must be centuries ago, because the city is much smaller, and almost all of it is contained within those stone walls that mark the old town. The basilica is not there. There's just much smaller, much more humble church. The Fortaleza isn't there, but there is a castle in its place. And on this map are 3 lines that translate roughly with the lines that you've drawn. Yes, I see. I did wonder. And he traces the lines. He reaffirms the lines on your map, which I have now put on.
Oh, shit.
They've been there. Those lines have been there since day one. Yes. And they converge on the Chapel of Lathander. That must be it. The site of the Yawning Moor. And you say that you saw it on the Feywild side. How is that possible?
We have a mirror that we can look through, and it shows us the exact opposite or exact spot, but in the different worlds, Feywild.
Yes.
Yes, we can show you for 15,000 gold pieces.
We got it. I can't remember how we got it exactly, but it was a bit of a funny story with a dragon or something. I don't know.
You were given it by some Eladrin on the Feywild side to return home.
It's got two
Oh, right.
more charges left, so we can get back to the Feywild and we can get back here again.
And you believe that the Yawning Moor on this side, it must be under the Chapel of Thunder then?
It must be. We did find by the Breakfast Club, there's tunnels really deep underneath that could link to it, but
Yes.
we don't know. We haven't investigated that yet.
We think beneath Bellinor,
Bellinor.
we'll find. Oh yes, of course, the tree. But in this side, it'll be upside down. Of course, this makes sense now. And presumably, they'll be like docking each other. I keep pointing at them more.
Sorry, Wade, what is docking?
You piqued our interest now.
It's just a theory I have. I've thought long and hard about it.
Hard.
More hard than long.
Long and hard.
Oh dear.
Yes.
There are legends. There are legends of the fall of Bellinor, the darkness that swept through the city once, and it was lost soon after, when the citizens caught the ire of their benefactors. 3 witches. It all falls into place. And that is where you must go. Find the Yawning Moor in Bellinor.
Boy, just if you could hazard a guess, how many?
Sorry, that is my mobile phone.
If you could hazard a guess, Oberyn, how many? How many days would it take us to walk to the center? Would it take 11 days? Because time would be quite short.
I can't possibly speculate. I have not ventured into those pits. Few have and have come back.
But
Nobody's
a new
ever found
life
one.
today that have returned.
What about this box you spoke of?
Well, we found in one of the witches' caverns that there was this weird box, and then when we opened it, there was a child's voice, and
May I see it?
she seems to think that she's imprisoned, but not. Well, I don't know if she knows that she's in a box.
Yes,
Yes,
here
it's
it
quite
is.
hard to break it to her that she's just a box.
May I see the box?
Yes, here it is.
What's in the box?
Okay, you hand him the puzzle box, and he inspects it. What's the word? Methodically going through each little compartment, finding the keys and twisting and turning to uncover every compartment, and eventually getting to the last stage of the puzzle before opening, and halts, and then mutters some incantations and concentrates deeply for an awkwardly long time, where there's just silence falls in the chamber. Eventually he opens his eyes. This is a very dark object indeed.
Racist.
I have no doubt that the person, the monster that made this, meant to consume this soul, perhaps saving it for a special occasion, or
Calling it
when she
a
needed it the most.
snack jar.
If you were to consume the contents of this box, it would raise permanently one of your attributes, making you permanently more intelligent, or permanently more charismatic, or permanently stronger. You would essentially be adding the energy of this poor girl to your own soul. She could be brought back, but it would require very powerful magic. Very
And-
powerful.
Is that something that you can do?
It's far beyond me, I'm afraid. It would require... It would require either a true resurrection or the full power of a wish spell.
And is there anyone in this city that has that power?
I mean, perhaps there is, but I doubt that they will be the ones that will be helping you. They are the ones that made this thing.
So the witches are that powerful?
I don't think that they have... I think this is the limit of their power. Perhaps they are that powerful after the ritual has been completed. But at the moment they are waning every day. They are at the end of their natural lives. And until the ritual can be complete, they are weaker.
Excellent. So there's no hope for this box, woman, soul, child.
Well, of course there is hope, but it is not a problem that can be solved immediately. If you
Might
wish
as
to
well
save
eat it
her,
then. No, didn't say that. Yes, we must save this person. We must not use it to boost our own attributes.
I eat the soul.
This is not a ration, Karak.
And it's not a rat tavern.
Damn it.
I have heard tale
Oh,
of some powerful wizards that might be able to help you. I know nothing of them apart from their existence and their reputation.
where are they? Where could they be?
There is a house, a manor house, north of Azeron. It is said that that house, within its walls, is a domain of 3 powerful, incredibly powerful archmages.
And
But-
are they good?
The thing about archmages is they come in many different varieties, different flavors, but when you reach a certain level of power, and you're your quest for more powerful spells, more important ways to manipulate the fabric of reality, morality seems trivial to them at that point. It's difficult for people like us, mere mortals, to envision the kind of morality that an archmage of that level operates on. We seem like ants to them.
Do you have any tips to like butter him up?
I've studied magic for a long time, 60 years now. And if there's one thing I've learned from my dealings with archmages, it's that they like their ego stroked.
Ooh. There'll be no stroking of that.
Thank you for your advice. We shall be we'll stroke him very strongly and firmly.
Their names are Bartimus, Bracket, and Blot.
Blah, blah, blah. Bartimus, Blackett, and Block.
Bartimus, Bracket, and Blot.
Bracket.
Artemis, Bracket, and Block.
Bracket. Bracket. You have a shit name, Bracket.
Well, Wade, I think you're the best at grovelling, aren't you?
Correct.
Yes.
Better get those knee pads on.
Get on the knees and totally under me.
I think this is a job for all of us.
Whoa!
I fear it may have to wait until after you've dealt with these more immediate threats, I'm afraid. Esper is many miles, many days travel from Azeron.
Oh. Can you, where is best to keep this box until then? Because we don't want it falling into the hands of the witches.
Mm-hmm. I can take care of it for you.
What do you think, guys? Shall we look after it ourselves, or?
Yeah, might as well in case we come across these guys. I don't think we'd lose it.
This guy's more likely to fuck us over, isn't he?
You can make an insight check.
I just don't see any need for him to look after it. It doesn't sound like he can do anything with it.
Okay, let's have a little insight.
Correct. You get the sense that he is interested in the box. You don't sense any malice there, like he's got some sort of nefarious plan. But he does kind of covet that box from perhaps more of a academic perspective. He wants to study it because it's interesting, because it's powerful magic.
We can let you keep the box for 15,000 gold pieces.
I think then you better hang on to it.
Well, we will do that then. We will look after it. Once this is done, we'll let you know the outcome.
I would be very grateful.
And if the witches don't kill us, we'll come back and tell you how that went as well. Have you got any advice on killing witches?
Yes.
Stop eating. We're talking to you.
I'm just going to have some chocolate. It's hard work, this. Yes, I have one piece of advice. Make sure you're prepared.
Be prepared.
In what way?
Think of the worst thing that could possibly happen.
Death.
Just, I would not stumble in without taking precautions. I'm not an adventurer. I don't mean to teach you to suck eggs, but
Sure.
Would you want us to shut?
What kind of preparation? What sort of spells?
I'm not sure how much your budget can extend to, but if it were me, I would want minions, potions of healing, wands, swords, escape
Sword.
options.
Do you know anywhere where we can buy these at a discounted rate?
I believe there is a small magical items emporium below the Breakfast Club. There's also Steel Street for your more mundane items. The Breakfast Club has some often has some adventurers for hire.
So we may need to build an army as such.
I'm up for building up an army of extra people and just going down there and destroying these crappy witches. We've already killed one. It was incredibly easy. Let's get witches done.
Yes, let's go fuck up the witches. Let's bring hundreds of level 1 guards.
Yes, I'll bring on my challenge rating 1/4 or whatever it was.
Operation
Oh, no,
Human Shield.
I put this chocolate on my laptop and I forgot it was really boiling hot. And it's just left a horrible big chocolate melty mark on it.
Lovely.
Chocolate. Oh, that's toffee. Toffee.
Toffee, no!
Toffee.
Oh, this is making a horrible mess.
My favourite
Right,
part
so where you headed?
about that story about Toffee is that it was implied that Jason Norris actually told someone else about this thing that happened to him. Toffee.
My favourite thing is that it was obviously entirely, completely made up.
Toffee.
Yeah, it's still carried and carried. Toffee, no.
Someone gave us this. Right, where are we going?
Okay, well, we've got to wait to hear about the Bane. Aren't they someone doing some research for us?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you had someone doing some research for you.
What are they researching again?
They were researching references to either,
The names.
yeah. Annoyingly, I put these in 2 different places. So the names were either Satori, Gargozu Satori, the scion of Satori, or so you did find out about the other name, which was you found out about Shimazu Shinji, who is a He was the the priest of Bane that you saw, and he is also a member of the Tazumian embassy in Azeron.
Okay.
Okay. So, did we look through the thing actually at the Chapel of Lathander?
Yeah, you saw a great tree with a swirling purple cloud
So, do we need to just
above it.
do we just need to kind of gear up then? Should we just gear up, boys, and go for it? Or is there anything else we need to do?
Yes.
Is there any quests we can do to level up to one more time?
How many quests are we away from leveling?
The next, so you get Pearl Quest. Where's the alternative experience? What level are you?
7.
So you get 3,000 experience per quest, and your next level is 34,000.
Right, 34.
Oh god. It's 4
Oh
quests.
wow. Yeah.
Or-
Yes, it will take quite a while to level up. Or get enough experience. I think we just need to go for it. Although we've got a few days, haven't we? We've got what, 12 days, haven't we? 11 days.
Yeah.
Though I do not know how long the journey will be.
There's not really many more quests. Investigate reports of the series of strange accidents at the Plaza de Bestia.
Oh, is that
Investi-
the one that we went to that we had to come back to?
We got investigate reports that the tavern is haunted. That's the one we could go at night. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
investigate the disappearance of